At least 4 police officers are facing prosecution over the shooting and killing of protesters in Kenya. More than 50 people have been killed and dozens abducted, with hundreds arrested during recent anti-government protests. But as the BBC's Anne Soy reports, the use of excessive force by the security agencies is deeply entrenched in policing culture, and that's now fuelling demands from the streets for change.
This is not a war. It's how Kenyan police do crowd control. Thousands of mostly young Kenyans have taken to the streets to demand for government reforms. And this is what they are met with: excessive force. Dozens have been killed. 29-year-old Rex Masai was the first victim. We met his mother a day after he was shot and killed by police.
When people are fighting for their rights, why use live bullets? If he had been armed, we would understand that perhaps he was on the wrong.
This video shows what is said to be the moment Rex was shot. A police officer in civilian clothes is seen opening fire. Rex's friend Ian Kinuthia witnessed what happened.
He had a bullet in his thigh when we took him to hospital, but all of a sudden we were told there is no bullet. How?
The body mandated to investigate claims against the police says the security agency is not cooperating.
We need the arms movement register. We need to know which members were in a particular platoon. And for us to get that information is becoming a challenge. And to a certain level, some intimidation even to our officers.
We sought a response from the police chief about the allegations by investigators and the use of excessive force against unarmed protesters. But there's been no answer.
What is problematic is the culture of policing. Rather than de-escalating conversations or essentially facilitating peaceful protests, what we've seen essentially is an attempt to try and block peaceful protest. And that's where things break down.
It's given protesters more reasons to go out to the streets, and they try everything they can to make their voice heard.
The strategy the protesters have used is to try and come into town from all directions, and therefore the tear gas keeps going off in different directions. If anything, this does not dampen the spirit of the protesters, it fuels them.
The anger on the streets is rising. What began as protests against proposed tax hikes have now evolved into demands for reforms in government, including the security agencies. The protesters want change. They demand for justice for their fallen compatriots and an end to impunity. Anne Soy, BBC News, Nairobi.